Okay.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our presentation. We're Motor Breakers. That's the name of our project, and also our Gretchen. All right, so I know a lot of you guys saw our project yesterday, but just forget about it. That was our prototype, and we have a completely new one.
Yep. Yeah, completely different project today. Get ready.
Wait, can you?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so here's our goal. Of course, we have to use Gretchen, but we just wanted to make a simple game that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah. So we, of course, went big, and we decided to create Beat Saber. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. Actually, I kind of lied to you guys. We didn't have enough resources, we didn't have enough time, so we had to cut some corners. So we ended up making tic-tac-toe. No applause? Okay. I'm joking. So let's get into our actual project. So when we first came up with ideas, we spent our first day or two actually brainstorming as many ideas as we could. We actually came up with like 10 ideas. You guys can see current project ideas. We have Beat Saber with a question mark, human Tetris, a bunch of other ideas, and we narrowed it down to 4 ideas that we could choose. First one was find the object, which is pretty simple. You show a shape, you show a color, and it tracks. Boss battle, which is you just have to survive Gretchen. Simon Says, which is the classic game that you guys already know about. If you don't know how it works, you move if it says Simon Says. If it doesn't say Simon Says and you move, you are out. And of course, for human Tetris, aka hole in the wall, if you've never seen this before, basically a wall moves towards you with like a shape. If you have to match the shape, or else the wall will push you off into water. So upon evaluating all these ideas, we used the best evaluator. We brought in another person from outside of our group, and we ended up with Boss Battle, aka Motor Breakers, and that person who helped us decide is good old ChatGPT. So Chat helped rank them by feasibility. Given the 2-week time limit, which one is the most reasonable? Also, because it said it had the most wow factor, also the most feasibility within the time limit, and because it looked like a very fun project to make. So, our introduction.
So Motor Breakers is in fact the name of our game, and it uses facial recognition and kinematics like we've learned. And you have to survive Gretchen by staying out of his line of sight and using your dodging skills. And so to play, you have 3 lives total, and Gretchen will scan for bases, and if he sees you, he's going to track you, and then there's like a countdown depending on which difficulty it is, it's a different amount of time, and then if he sees you for too long, you lose a life, and you have to survive the time limit to win.
Yeah, so how does Gretchen see you? So we basically started with the face detector and the face tracking code that we got from the class examples. And you guys can see from this example image that I did at home, basically we have this red box and the camera will try to follow the colored object. We also implemented a face detection feature. We'll get to more of that when we do the live demo. But yeah, the red area that you guys see there is the damage zone. If you stay on that damage zone for too long, you guys see that green circle over there? If that green circle is within that red area, the charge bar will slowly go up. Once it finishes charging up, you will lose a life. You have 3 lives, and you have to escape the timer for that long. So let's get into the live demo. All right. Which I decided to show you guys live how to run it. So you go to PowerShell. Oh yeah, thank you. So yeah, you go to PowerShell. I'm going to show you guys a little quick thing. So you guys can see here, I have the Motor Breakers. We went through a lot of versions. We'll get to more of that as well later if we have time. Our version today is the 1.0.0 beta. So we'll copy that. You go here, you do CD, do quotes, them, and boom, you get this. Now what you can do is when you first run this file, there's an installation on the README, but you compile all the files so that all the files load very quickly. And then what you can do is you run the app. And when you run the app, you get this cool interface that you guys see here. Now, Gretchen right now is not on. So I want to show you guys what happens if you try to play with the camera off. You guys will see, you get an error message saying Gretchen may be disconnected, powered off, and you have to go back to the main menu. So that tells you, oh, Gretchen might be off. And you guys see now it's on. If we try playing, oh, whoa, sorry, my bad. You have to exit out of the program and then run it again. Yeah, we do that, and boom. So before we play though, I want to show you guys some options here. So we created a very sophisticated options menu. So you guys have options. First of all, we're going to start with auto tracking, but you can make it player controlled as well, so that it's a little bit more fun later. You can choose between color and face tracking. Face tracking is a little slower, so we are going to do color. We have a live height slider. Oh wait, what? There we go. Okay, so basically what you can do is, you guys can see there's color tracking. You can set it to a specific color, and it'll track the specific color only. If we use something else like a hat, it'll only track the hat color. But yeah, we're gonna use someone else's shirt. Yeah, so we're using Isaac's red shirt for our first example. Here we go. Set it to Isaac's here. Well, there we go. And yeah, now when we run the code, there we go. So when it runs, this is what happens. Oh, wait, what? Oh, it's player control? My bad. My bad. Okay, anyways, let's go back. Sorry, I guess when I moved it over, the Gretchen module wasn't installed. But back to the camera slider. All right, so the camera center is here. And go back to the feed. You can actually slide the camera height. So you guys can see, you can choose the optimal height to play at. We'll do this one. Save height. We'll change the color back real quick to red. Boom. Okay, so now it tracks him perfectly. And when we run the code, wait, so put a control here. Auto, up, and play. Okay, you basically have to dodge around now. We're on Impossible 5. So as you guys can see, Impossible 5 is a little bit hard. So we're going to tone it down a little bit. We added a ton of difficulties. Impossible 5 is just one of the fun little difficulties options we have. We have starting off from easy to insane and Impossible 1 through 10. Let me just say, anything above Impossible 8 is basically unbeatable. We're going to go with insane, because insane is actually not as bad as it sounds. All right, good luck, Isaac. So yeah, you guys can see, basically the way the code works is it keeps trying to track a player by running dlib in the background every couple of seconds. And the camera will slowly speed up, and the lock-on time will also slowly decrease as the round goes on. You guys will also notice the game timer was 60 seconds. That is customizable. You can go anywhere. Oh, detect the wall, I guess, in color. That's the only downside if you have a specific color. That is why we also have stuff like this. Okay, wear the hat real quick. Yeah, wear the hat, and then we'll use the hat as a detector. So yeah, that's the only downside with using color tracking. Sometimes the background will get in the way. All right, here, wait, we'll adjust the height again one more time. Okay, so yeah, there we go. We up the height. Yeah, got it. Okay, save the height. Boom, we do color tolerance. And we go through the hat one more time, look down a bit. Okay, I guess we'll use his khaki color. All right, we'll try that. Save and return. Good luck.
So not the hat?
Yeah, you can just use your shirt. Good luck. So yeah. We also made it so that you can choose between a bunch of different boss tracks. We have 9 songs in there right now, but you can always add them into the folder. And if it doesn't detect a player, it'll go back to automatic sleeping features like this. And the voices for Gretchen was using a module that we found online called a 8-bit voice synthesizer. So yeah. Oh. Okay. Doesn't detect anything, so it resets the camera height back to default. Guess we have some lighting issues here. Yeah. Back down. Oh. All right, we'll turn this off for a second, and we'll go back to player control. You can also manually quit by pressing Q or ESC. We're going to quickly demonstrate our player control option. And this one allows you to control Gretchen yourself. So the camera always starts at the default middle position, and then looks at the set height that you chose, like this. Now I am going to track Kevin myself. You basically can click on the screen. It's a very intuitive control, and it'll go to where I click. So this is if you feel like there's too many colors in the background and you want to take control of Gretchen yourself. You can now chase after the player yourself in a PvP mode, which is a little interesting thing we have. But I'm very bad at controlling Gretchen, so somebody with more technical skill we should probably do this. Yeah. For the sake of time, we're going to pause here real quick. But that's basically how our code works. We're going back to our presentation now. Okay, back to our slideshow. So yeah, that was our live demo real quick. And yeah, so these are some challenges we face.
Okay, some challenges. We had a challenge with staying on our task. We played Brawl Stars 2v2 in the middle.
To build team bonding! Go team bonding!
Yeah. And then matching ambition with action. We had so many things to that we wanted to put in our game, and then we couldn't do everything, so we just tried to put them, order them in the order of priority, and try to figure out each one. And then we also had a few bugs. I mean, I feel like there's no way to solve the bugs. You just have to edit the code until it works.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So what did we learn? Read it with me, everyone. Go. Read it with me, guys. Lorem ipsum, dolor sit amet. Okay. Jokes aside, some of you guys might be thinking, wow, these guys are sloppy. They left a template slide in the presentation. Joke's on you. This is actually intentional. This is actually an analogy to our project. We had a plan to learn something. And we had, initially, a template on what we wanted to learn. But plans didn't go as we thought. And that is actually the big lesson to take away here. Because computers and robots are a lot more complicated than we all thought. And given our time constraints, it was not all possible. So this is actually some of the ideas, because as Daniel mentioned, every time we put one thing into the code, there was 3 other things that we wanted to add. So, take it away.
Here's a slide for all the things we could add in the future. And as you can see, we only listed 6 of them, but in reality, as Yo-Yo said, every time we make the new codes, we get so many more ideas. For example, we can add more power-ups in the future that can slow down Gretchen, give you immunity. We can also implement new game modes, like free-for-all, team takedown. Furthermore, we can get an improved health bar that follows the player's head in real time. We can add multiplayer so more people can play together. We can do a moving Gretchen that literally chases you on wheels if you want. And we can also get an improved UI to make it even more colorful and engaging to everyone playing.
And yeah.
And thank you for playing. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. And real quick. So this is a little bit of a fun fact. Some of you guys might have seen the presentation and be like, what the heck is all that code about? So we used AI just for this part to ask it how many lines of code we had across all of our files. We had 20 separate different files overall. And as you guys see, the biggest file was the game file with around 1,062 lines. That includes comments though, just heads up. But yeah, in total, the code had around 5,200 lines. So while we did write a lot of our code, we also had to have the help of AI organize everything. You guys can look more in that into our documentation that we made and our README. Yeah, that was it. Unfortunately, I think we are out of time, unless we have some spare time. Yeah.
We are out of time,
yeah, because originally we were going to have people come up and try it. But unfortunately, I think that we're not going to be able to do that. But yeah, thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you very much. Please submit your evaluations, and then the next team come up real quick.